Alright, now for week 2 of the Forge, and my opponent is Gold Hunter. You can see Cyclozar and Orthworm, but since this is low tier, Shedtail is not allowed. So what we should be focusing on is the top 3 Pokemon. The Gallade, the Cyclozar, and the Brute Bonnet. A Gallade, it was the most expensive mon in the draft, but that's because of a Sacred Sword and Psycho Cut getting buffed by its new ability, Sharpness. Cyclozar, although it can't shed tail, it is still an excellent support mon and a great offensive mon. With Rapid Spin, Knockoff, Shift Gear if he wants, and U-Turn. And Brute Bonnet is just being carried by its stats. Its typing is trash, but so is my Wochien's. But the one thing I noticed was their lack of hazard control. I could go into my Wochien or Cryogonal and Terra Ghost it up to block their only form of hazard control, which is Rapid Spin. So that will be the plan, just to keep up hazards, hopefully wear everything down. So let's go to the team. Let's start with here. So Gastrodon is Choice Specs with Sticky Hole. This is to counter Knockoff from Cyclozar, and then everything else to hit as hard as possible while still supporting with Stealth Rock. I could even use Stealth Rock to lower Gold's guard, and they'll think that I'm not Vex. Next up is Wind Condition Tauros. With Bulk Up and Flame Charge, it's basically a victory dance, and then Dual Stab just handles everything. Since I'm a fire type, I won't get burned by Flame Body, and Anger Point actually has quite a few chances to trigger from stuff like U-Turn, Rapid Spin, and Knockoff, or even Orthworm's Heavy Slam. And then I'm just creeping Hunter. Everything else is dumped into attack and HP. I should note for the Charcoal, this is to help me KO Orthworm without resorting to lowering my defenses. Now we have fully defensive Wochien. This is to deal with the top 3 mons in Gold's draft. I do have a special defense nature though, because Wochien is still very useful against Raichu and the Haunter, so he's going to be working overtime. Taunt is to stop hazards setting up from his slower mons, and then everything else is standard stuff. Body Press is interesting though. This is to catch the Brute Bonnet and the Orthworm. Now we have Name Move. This is to take advantage of the hazards. I can just spam Crunch, and that'll be it. Everything else is filler. Nice coverage though, and Destiny Bond would be a nice 1-for-1 if it comes down to it. Quillfish is my lead. If I get taunted, so be it, but I'm just gonna spam as much spikes as possible. I have taunt myself to prevent setup from the enemy team. Since I have 0 attacks, I'm kind of a sitting duck. And lastly, we have another breaker aside from my Mabostiff. I'm not Terra Normal, unfortunately, but Guts Facade should do the trick. And priority is also really important for the likes of Raichu and the Haunter if it Terras. Volt Switch gives me nice momentum to get in Mabostiff. Now, if you notice about my nicknames, they're all nicknamed after towers in Bloons Tower Defense, so if you know any of them, then cookie for you. But yeah, I have all 3 hazards, no webs though, but that won't be needed. And let's get into this. So, before we start, the power rankings was revealed for my division, which is the Agron Steel division, and I was on the bottom. Yeah, the mods did not like my theme of all intimidate, and it's fair. It's a fair ranking putting me at the bottom. Like last week, I got obliterated from just one adrenaline orb, but my opponent, Gold, he's ranked number 1 in the power rankings. So this, if I could beat him, that would be a nice statement to make against my bottom ranking. So without further ado, you can see that their hazard control does not exist. Unless Charizard gets Defog in Paldea Dex, but I don't think so. So I just get up Quillfish and try to spam hazards. Intimidate goes off, which is nice. So I set up Toxic Spikes because although half his team is immune to it, it's still very important for Gallade and Brood Bonnet. And even Raichu, if it starts sweeping with Nasty Plot, since I can't outspeed it, I'll have to resort on Poison and then Quick Attack to kill it. So Psycho Cut doesn't kill me thanks to the Intimidate, and now I get to just trade with Destiny Bond. But Gold is smart, and he uses Agility, predicting my Destiny Bond. So this could get dicey, but he forgets how Destiny Bond works. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to take that back. That was not smart. So now Tauros comes out. I led Tauros because I can switch into my would-be checks, such as this Charizard. I have a switch in, which would be Luxray. The Hurricane doesn't do much, and now I'm predicting he's gonna read the Facade and switch out, but he doesn't and goes for the Flamethrower. And I just send out a weak Volt switch. And now I can start getting a kill, because now I know it's not Scarf. I think I was expecting Scarf, which is why I was also predicting a switch. But now I know it's not Scarf, so I get a free Stakeout boosted Crunch on this Orthworm. I was ready for this to do a ton of damage. But it actually doesn't do much. I'm like, what the heck? How tanky is this guy? But I know this guy is set up fodder for my Tauros. Yeah, you can see how early this is in the Gen 9's life that Tauros isn't showing yet. But I forget, it has Iron Defense, so it's not as passive as I thought. It has Iron Defense Body Press. So I try to boost alongside with it, but I know I'm not gonna win. And it deals a hefty Body Press, so all I have left are 2 turns. So I spend those 2 turns attacking. The second Iron Defense doesn't really matter, I still died in 2 turns. But it would have been nice if I double close combated. I didn't expect the second Iron Defense. And now I try to go for another prediction. So it's low enough to die to anything. It could be a Facade, it could be a Volt Switch. So I'm going for my hidden coverage move, Fire Fang, which should be able to nail the potential Raichu or Haunter switching. Now he would try to save this in my opinion because Earth Eater allows it to heal up on Gastrodon. So I finally get the read right, and yes, Toxic Spikes is there, but for some reason Showdown is lagging. It's not showing, but Toxic Spikes does trigger. And I land the Guts boosted Fire Fang. So Luxray does its job. Nice 50% on Charizard and then a big hit on Raichu. And over here, I try to check if it's Scarf, but I doubt it is it. So now I get my Scarf Crunch off. Now in comes Brood Bonnet. I'm like, okay, I wall it with this guy. Yes, close combat comes out, but I was prepared for that. I'm able to live 2 close combats thanks to my ability. Or, no, I don't. But thanks to my Terra. That's what I meant. And from here, the body press brings it to near death, and the poison finishes it off. Earthworm comes out, but if it doesn't have any speed investment, I outspeed it naturally, and that's what happens. Charizard tries to get something started, but I'm not letting it do anything funny. So I'm just spamming knockoff till I die. And I actually survive that, and I get another kill. The Wo-Chan's going on a rampage. And it finally dies, but based on how he treated his Haunter, it must be Choice. Yes, it's Choice Scarf, but it wasn't enough. And Clench does the deed. And I win 2-0 against the number 1 in the power ranking. Now, Gold definitely does not agree with his placement in the power ranking, so no shade to him, just a little shade to the mods. But yeah, after this match, Gold went through a bunch of team changes, so I'm not sure if I got all of his team changes correctly. Since this is a retrospective, I could be missing something. I didn't want to go too much into detail about his 10th Pokemon because I wasn't sure if it was Carkol, Marini, or some filler water type mon. I can't remember. This is the problem with doing these recordings like way after it happened. I might do a live recording one day, but that's too hard. So yeah, we won 2-0, we're slowly making it out of the negative, and hopefully we continue to make it out of the negative. Alright, see ya.